So your acceptance stage is basically under kind of just saying that you're going to set some goals, some targets to work towards to get you back to the player you were, or even much better than what you were. Um, it's just all about understanding that you need to go through a rehabilitation process in order for you to come back stronger. So the nine emotional states of the mind. So there's fear. No, let's go frustration. So this can be during or after a game. So you could be frustrated due to getting injured. Um, during, so when you're like frustrated. Oh, I've just pulled my calf, but you know what? Like, I'm gonna play on, but you are still frustrated that this has happened. And then after the game, you reflect back on it, and you start to identify how could you have prevented that from happening. Could you have pulled out the tackle? Could you have gone a bit lower, like a rugby tackle or something, or could you have just passed the ball before they tackled you? That kind of thing. You start to think, oh, I could have done this, this, and this, and this, and then I wouldn't be in this thing. And you start to get frustrated at yourself, but also the person that injured you as well. Isolation. This is like mainly in the rehabilitation process. So you're not socializing with your team, your coaches. You're not attending training or games, and it just starts to make you um a little bit more on your own. Like you're not socializing. You're not at training sessions. You don't know what's going on, um, and you start feeling a bit more independent. And obviously sometimes sport can help people socialize, it can help build their confidence, and if you become isolated, your confidence is going to decrease massively. So we've also got motivation loss. So in the treatment phase, when you're trying to get back to your peak fitness and level, but you become dysrespondent, so then your motivation is like lost, and you won't try as hard as you feel like you're not going to get back to your prime performance level, and therefore you won't be working as hard. Therefore, it makes it harder for you to recover quickly, more effectively if you're not motivated. If you're not motivated, you're not going to do the stretches or the exercises that the physio has given you. So therefore, it's not going to help you. It's going to hinder your recovery. Denial. So in the recovery phase again, so you're trying to get to grips with what's happened, and you're trying to dismiss the injury to get back to playing quicker. So it can also be straight after the injury as well. So you could be like, oh, no, 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 I'm fine, I'm playing on. Obviously, it's literally you're saying you're fine. You want to just play. You don't care if it's going to make it worse. You just literally want to play. So you're going to deny everything about you getting injured, about it hurting, etc. Anger. So this could be at the time of the injury and upon reflection. So feel angry and frustrated of of how you got injured and how you could have um minimized the risk of this happening. So obviously you become angry towards the person or the object that made you injured or caused you to get injured. Anxiety. So when you're anxious before, like diagnosis, as you know, you don't know what the severity and also the amount of time you're going to be out for. Could also be at the end of treatment because you also don't know how well the treatment would have worked or whether you're strong enough to play at your prime performance again. Therefore, you may not have a chance to get into the first team. Confidence loss, again, not same level of fitness. So, like first training back and you haven't been active, therefore you're isolated because everyone else is performing at a higher level than you. Obviously, then that drops your confidence. You're like, oh, I'm not as good as I used to be. There's no point, and then your confidence is literally lost, and you're like, well, and then this affects your motivation to get back onto it. It's just a knock-on effect, really. Um, Fear. So during the game, some people sense that they're going to get injured. Therefore, if it's actually said that if you don't give 100% into each tackle, you're actually more likely to get injured. So therefore, if you're worrying about getting injured because you can sense it, obviously you're not going to go into tackles that hard. And if you don't go into tackles that hard, then obviously they're putting more effort onto you than you putting onto them, and then they're obviously going to end up injuring you. So obviously, this can actually cause an injury to happen. And also the moment after diagnosis, because you've been stressed and scared of how long and how bad your injuries are, and how if you're ever really going to be able to play again or play back at the level you were. And finally, depression. So, like during the treatment phase, because you're not mobile, you're not doing anything, so you're isolated away from training and team members and coaches. Therefore, like you're all on your own, you're not socializing, etc., and you don't know what's going on within the team. So strategies for improvement. So you've got uh, so you've got anxiety. So this helps increase motivation and your desperation to do well as well. So like if you're worried about your injury, you're obviously going to want to get and worried about you not playing. You're obviously going to want to get back on the pitch as quickly as possible. So therefore, your motivation is going to increase. So you're going to do everything that's been asked of you to do. Um,